Hello, hello, hello. Hi. Well, I wanted to change my background, but it doesn't seem to be happening. Okay. Anyways, this is more about nothing, or much to do about nothing. Whoops. There's my cat right there. Hello, cat. There's the back of my head. Anyways, my background is not working. I guess it's okay that you see my beautiful home. Ah, there we go. Okay. Anyways, hello, hello, hello. And this is a video, of course, about nothing. And the message is non-duality says, go away. No, that's not what it says. Anyways, all there is this. And again, if you look at what's happening in the world today, here we are on, what day is it? June 13th, 2025. I won't go into it, but there are many different things that have been happening in the last couple of days. And it's also just this. It's also what is apparently happening. Nothing is actually happening. But that is the appearance. That is what we as separate people are apparently witnessing or being aware of. But the message of Advaita is not two. Not two, not cause and effect, not good and bad, not right and wrong, not higher and lower, not inside and outside. Everything is the same, no thing. And that's really, full stop, end of story, literally sometimes the end of stories. And that's that. Now, the apparent me might arise and might ask, how can this message benefit me? How can Advaita Vedanta help me? And of course, it can't, because the message of Advaita Vedanta is basically saying that no one is speaking to no one. No one is speaking, no one is listening, nothing is happening. Right? This is all no thing happening. So there would never be someone speaking to someone else giving advice in the context of a non-duality meeting. Now, that being said, anything is possible and everything does apparently happen. In the story of humanity, in the story of human beings, advice is given all the time, usually not taken, but it is given all the time. People, especially now with social influencers and all these people on social media, they are always, oh, I guess that might be me, I don't know. They're always giving advice, you should do this, you should do that. That is not what this is, of course. This is nothing, no one, just uttering, happening all by itself. But again, not really. In reality, nothing is happening. This is no thing appearing to happen. It's an appearance for no one. There's no one inside the appearance or outside of the appearance who is separate from the appearance, who is aware of the appearance. There's only the appearance, and the appearance is no thing. So that's that. Why speak about this if there's nothing on offer and nothing to sell, nothing to give, nothing to gain? Why talk about it? And of course, the answer is the same for everything else. There's no reason. There's no reason or purpose or meaning behind anything. It's just this. Talking for whatever reason. Literally, this body just walked over, turned on the computer, and it's talking for no reason at all. Is it a waste of time? Well, it's only a waste of time for the person. And since there's no person anywhere, no waste of time and no time. Advaita Vedanta says there's no time, there's no space, there's no thing, nothing. Literally, absolutely no thing, no self, no thing. That's basically the message of Advaita Vedanta. No self, not in the future, not before, but always, never a self. Never a self. Maybe that's even better than already no self. Never a self. Even if it feels like there's a self or it looks like there's a self. Oh, me, selfish, selfish. Still, even in the most selfish person, there's no self, which is very ironic. So no self and no thing, because this is not a thing. There are no things. It's all empty. It's all no thing. No thing appearing as everything. So, yeah, it not logical, really, for the one that feels like a separate self, that feels like a contracted energy, feels like a person. It doesn't make sense, of course. It's not logical. Now, sometimes this has spoken about the two, one, to zero sort of story. Everything's a story, basically, that's spoken. So we could talk about that for a little bit. And of course, in the two story, which is the normal story, we could say, of course, there is helping and giving and interaction. And there's two. There's me, there's you, there's I, there's other, there's subject, there's object, and there's humanity, apparently, in the two story. There are 8 billion people and plants and animals and solar systems and all kinds of different things, stars and galaxies and atoms and amoebas and gases and neutrons and atoms and all kinds of things. So all of these things are apparently separate. That's in the two story. All of these things are part of life. They are life. Now, as we move from the two to the one story, it becomes realized perhaps by someone, or believed for sure by someone, or spoken about philosophically perhaps by someone, that all of these billions of things are not separate as much as we might think they are. They're still things, there's still variety and difference, as Nisargadatta said, but there's no separation. Variety and difference, but no separation. Everything is interconnected. Everything is relational. Everything is perhaps coming from the same one source, one life, one God, one universe, one aliveness, one. It's all oneness. And in that story, you could also, start, not that that's the point, but you could walk around just saying, oneness is talking, and oneness is hearing, and oneness is eating, and oneness is working, and oneness is laughing, and oneness is crying, and, oneness is doing everything. Oneness is causing havoc in the world. Now, so that's the oneness story. Or oneness is, realizing itself, or becoming enlightened, or becoming self-aware, or something like that. Many different stories, of course. So many stories. Basically, if you were to ask all of the apparently separate 8 billion people, what is the story, basically, of life, or of the universe, or of God, or they would all give you a story, even if it was a non-story. Even if they said, oh, I'm a, what's the word? Not evangel. Oh, what's the word? I can't think of the word. And that happens as well. So anyways, usually everyone basically has a story about life. It's a paradigm, it's a philosophy, it's an observation. This is what I think life is about. And usually those stories are a mixture of many different kinds of stories. You might have the religious story, or the cultural story, or the family story, or the personal story. And they're all, overlapping each other or meshed together in some sort of conglomerate or something like that. But they're all influencing each other. And of course, in every moment, a different you is appearing to react or respond to whatever is happening. So that is happening, apparently. Now, the zero story isn't that, so we were saying, or I was saying, that oneness is doing everything, oneness is eating, oneness is working. The zero story, somebody might say, oh, nothing is doing this. Nothing is eating, and no one is eating, and no one is working, and no one is thinking, and no one is talking, no one is listening. Yeah, that can happen as well. But even further you could say. Um, it would just be the realization, by no one, of course, that nothing is actually happening. So it's not that oneness is doing something or that nothing or no one is doing something. It's that nothing is happening because there's no thing, right? I stands for illusion, the illusion of being a separate self. As soon as there's a separate self, a subject, then the object is there with it. That's how it is. That's the energetic contraction or the illusion of separation. I and other. Hello. So they arise together as one. They look like two, excuse me, subject object, but it's one, it's all oneness. It's all the same thing or no thing appearing. The observer is the observed. It's the same. It's all this. Now, moralistically speaking, or compassionately speaking, or spiritually speaking, perhaps, there could be in the story, it's a story with a timeline. It could be that somebody in the past was more selfish and more self obsessed or self involved, or, it was just me, 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 and look at me, and narcissist, and look at me in the mirror. It's all about me. And then perhaps something cracks, some light comes in. The heart opens a little bit, the mind softens, it sinks into the heart. I don't know. It could be anything. There's no really even cause and effect relationship necessarily. Perhaps just one day, hmm, just a different way of seeing things. Some of that you could say, could naturally just occur with maturity and aging. Obviously, when we're younger, we tend to be a little bit more self-obsessed and, just thinking about ourselves all the time. And then as we get older, life happens and you start to sort of ground in a way. Because as a kid, you're sort of just flying all over the place, feeling invincible and nothing will ever happen to me. But as you get older and things start happening to you, you realize, oh, yeah, I guess I am perhaps this human body, and I guess things can happen. I can get fired from a job. I can break my arm. I can get dumped by my girlfriend or something. Basically, pain, suffering, all the good stuff. It starts to arise. It starts to happen. It starts to appear in our lives, and then we start reacting and or responding to that. Um, and it starts affecting us. It starts affecting our personality and our ego and our sense of self. And it starts affecting our decision making process, and perhaps how much time we spend alone or with people, or how active we are or inactive we are. And all kinds of possible variations could arise as a result of that. But basically, hopefully, it seems like most people evolve. There's just that natural maturation process that does take place. Um, and then there are people that, you meet them and you feel like, oh, you really haven't changed since high school or something. They have the same, it seems like they have the same paradigm. Not a lot seems to have changed. But now for some people, they become very hungry. They really want to change for whatever reason. They just feel like a hole inside. Maybe it's the hungry ghost, insatiable. Um, there must be more. There must be more. What is God? Where is God? God, where are you? And they start this spiritual path and they start looking for God. Or they start looking for experiences. They want something more meaningful or tangible, or something with more purpose in their lives. Maybe their life feels very shallow, and then there's a shift. So, and then, of course, again, it's a story, but what can apparently happen is that the me, the seeking energy, the contracted energy, just collapses, dies, disappears, and then there's no one. That might not even be seen, because now there's no one in there to see that there's no me. Could happen. It could never even be spoken about because it's such a non-event. It's not really happening. It's the return, in a way, that's a story, but the return to that which is natural. Look at those trees. They're fake. It's a photograph, but But look at those beautiful trees. Look at nature. It just evolves. It blossoms. It unfolds. It grows. Everything naturally just happens without any self involved, without any self inside. It just happens. Even my nails, which I have to cut, they're not too bad, but they grow. My hair does grow actually a little bit, and my nasal hair, my ear hair. Ooh, yeah. Everything grows, right? Everything is growing and growing and growing and expanding and getting bigger, and maybe my belly as well. And that is just natural. Things happen. Energy dances, effect, action, cause, effect. Every action has a reaction, whatever that statement is. Weather happens, everything is like weather. It's just changing. You might be very peaceful for 5 years, and then one day you wake up and you're just pissed. You're angry or you're sad. You wake up and you're just utterly depressed, and you can't figure out why. Why am I depressed? I've been happy for 5 years, and now something's missing. Something isn't missing, but something is present. A new sadness. What is this about? So again, in the story, everything's a story of nothingness. There's no reason for anything appearing. In the story, yes, you can go back and forth and trying to find cause and effect, but I think it's the Chinese philosophy that says basically, the reason anything is happening right now, the reason I am sitting here apparently speaking to no one, is because of 10,000 things that have happened to this body before and everything else that I'm related to. So not just what's happened to me, but what's happened to my mother, my father, my brother, my sister, my friends, my colleagues, my other extended family, my environment, my anything. This is again sort of like the oneness story. It's all interconnected. It's all affecting. It's like we're all a wave, and we're all being knocked around by all the other waves. COVID was a huge wave for people. Things are happening right now. Things have been happening in the Middle East where I live. That's affecting people. Even today, flights are being changed. Why? Well, go watch the news and you'll see it's all cause and effect. We all are affecting each other from the standpoint of two-ness, from I and other. From the standpoint of zero, nothing is happening. And that might sound like a cop-out, and maybe it is. Maybe it is a cop-out. But it's really just a deep a deep looking into what is, like this phone, right? This phone is no thing. Or what the Buddhist masters used to say is they used to pound the staff on the floor and they say, "This is the Buddha, this is the Buddha, this is the Buddha." So even my iPhone 16 is the Buddha. And what does that mean? It means everything is nothing, appearing as everything. All there is what is and what is not. Aliveness, immediacy, boundlessness, emptiness, fullness, absolute, relative, God, if you want to use the God word. God is what is. This is God. Whatever is happening, whatever you would label or define as good or bad or pleasant or painful, it's God. It's what's happening. All there is what's happening. So simple. So very simple. All there is what's happening. And what is apparently happening is already everything, you see. This is already wholeness. This is whole. This is everything. This is the universe, if you want. Nothing is missing. Nothing is missing. Everything is included. But that means everything. Again, pain, pleasure, pain, pleasure. Nisargadatta said, life is a river that flows between the banks of pain and pleasure. So it's everything. It's everything. And everything is this. All there is what is and what is not. All there is what is happening. All there is the appearance for no one. This is unconditional freedom. This is unconditional love. Wherever there is love, there is no separation. There's beyond one. There's the energy of everything, the energy of the beloved. And that's 20 minutes, even though there isn't time or space. So I think we will end it here. And yeah. In the story of two, I would say be safe. Hug your loved ones. Really appreciate every little thing that you have. Be grateful. And c'est la vie. C'est la vie, mon Dieu. Au revoir. Assalam.